Trail, Whitaker Park, and the Franks Lampson Trail. Next is proposed local law entitled a local law permitting all-terrain vehicle, off-highway vehicle operation on approximately 0.3 miles of a certain portion of County Road 80, Glendale Road, in the town of Martinsburg to connect the existing OHV trail system from the TIS Trail to and through the Glenfield School Trail. Finally, proposed local law entitled a local law permitting all-terrain vehicle, off-highway vehicle operation on approximately 1.1 miles of a certain portion of County Road 53, which is Main Street and Blue Street, in the town of Martinsburg to connect the existing OHV trail system from the Pioneer Trail to the Glenfield School Trail and Field Day Trail. So is there anyone here that would like to comment on any of these public hearings? Yes, ma'am. Would you please come up to the podium and speak your name for the record, please?
Thank you. Does that move at all? Okay. Good evening. My name is Geraldine Solomon, and I reside at 6416 Glendale Road, Glenfield, New York. I have owned my home since 1960, which is 65 years. Today, you're going to vote to open or not the Glendale Road, approximately 3.5 miles to all-terrain vehicles. If voted in, it certainly begs the question of meeting Vehicle Traffic Law 2405 of New York. Many cases have been tried in the townships of this county, and all have lost based on merit. In my possession is the most recent trail map, which shows many miles of roads that connect to short stretches of off-road trails. As a matter of fact, many, if not all of you who are voting today, have roads at your primary residence that are not open. First, my representative and mayor of Turin, Josh Liviker, road is not open. Second, the chairman of the Board of Legislators, Lawrence Dahlhoff, road in Lions Falls on Markham Street is not open. Jeff Nellenbach, who lives on the Mud Lake Road in West Leiden, is not open. The question is, will you vote to open roads illegally as you have in the past when your roads are not open? Everything is fine and dandy as long as it's not in your front yard or backyard. In your resolution, your highway superintendent, Mr. Reed, says he sees no significant safety problem on this and other roads being presented today. Mr. Reed, you never questioned me. Had you, I would have told you of an accident at my residence that happened during the night where an ATV missed the corner of my house, took out my fence, and managed to navigate back onto the road. Luckily for them, my car was in the garage and not in the driveway. They would have been seriously hurt and my car damaged, and they left the scene of the accident. The county has a traffic safety committee that was formed about 30 years ago. Have they ever been consulted? How about our volunteers that spend many hours assisting the injured? What is their take on safety? And on my road that sees traffic of ATVs illegally do not come those surveying the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit at all. Lack of law enforcement is a main factor also. And to add insult to injury, the ATV manufacturers advertise that they are for off-road use only. But we have the county that opens them illegally and then gives the landowners a hold harmless agreement. I feel it's safe to argue that a hold harmless agreement is weak at best. Do the landowners inform their insurance carrier that they have an ATV trail crossing on their property? In my township town of Martinsburg a few years ago, they suffered significant damage to some of the roads. Snowplows The sponsor of the Snort Run event has agreed to pay to correct the damage caused. Have they? Or have I and other taxpayers paid to fix these roads? Less than 2 weeks ago, April 26, 25, on the Plummer Road in the town of West Turin, a 39-year-old and an 11-year-old were injured. The sheriff's report said that they were going at a high rate of speed and hit a water hole. The ATV overturned several times and both were ejected. The 39-year-old left the scene of the accident and the 11-year-old by himself. What kind of an adult leaves a child by himself? What kind of sport are we promoting? Running bar to bar to obtain a poker chip to win a prize. Safety is not a significant issue. Tell that to the family that lost a loved one in Burdick's Crossing, or the family that lost a loved one in the Snort Run 2 years ago. This is as Ray Meyer, attorney for the town of Lowville, was quoted as saying 2 or 3 years ago. It is a liability nightmare waiting to happen. And now ATV clubs cannot even obtain insurance. This should concern the legislators greatly, I would think. I would hope that you would consider the peace and tranquility of the long residents of this county, many who have lived for decades at their property. I am afraid, though, that the decision was made long before today. Thank you for your time and attention concerning this serious issue.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the proposed public hearings?
Hi, my name is Frank Robbins. I've lived up in West Martinsburg for 46 years. What concerns me about this is my road is closed. There's more ATV traffic on there from Thursday night to Sundays than counts. Sheriff's Department goes up and tries to get some, state troopers try to get some, but I live in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. What I'm afraid of is once you start opening roads, all of a sudden this road's open, that road's open. I really don't, want my road to be open. When they opened it up during the Snort Run a few years ago, it was a disaster. It was like a speed zone down through there drag racing. So I realize ATVs, promotion of, trying to do tourism type stuff is important to the county, but I think we need to really think which roads we open. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments? We'll leave those public hearings open for a few minutes and move to privilege of the floor. Is there anyone that would like to make comments under privilege of the floor outside of these public hearings? Mr. Leviker, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike Liverker, I'm president of the Black River Valley Four-Wheeler Club. Last fall, I applied for a grant through the Right Rider Access Fund. It's based out of California. And we got awarded $5,000 check for off-road signage, which will help out Jackie's crew. It'll help out the county. And we've done some work already in some of the county land, doing signage and policing the area a little bit. Also, we got a grant last year for $6,000 that went towards signage, going towards kiosks are being built next couple of weeks. We're the only ATV club in Lewis County that's 501c3, and we're tax exempt. And with the new road of opening, if it does go through, we can assist, with the money for the signage for the off-road parts. We can help with that. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone else for?
And I'm going to be working on one more grant this year, and it's going to be towards ATV, UTV safety for training. I'm going to try for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for privilege of the floor? Proclamations, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two proclamations tonight. The first proclamation is in honor of National Hospital Week, which is May 11th through 17th. Whereas National Hospital Week celebrates hospitals and the healthcare providers who, day in and day out, support the health of our communities through compassionate care, innovation, and unmatched dedication. And whereas individuals across the United States will be celebrating this time-honored event. And whereas the County of Lewis is honored to join the many National Hospital Week partners in celebrating Lewis County Health System and the men and women who are on the front lines working tirelessly to help others in their greatest time of need. Whereas the County of Lewis recognizes that the hardworking people who make up Lewis County Health System deserve universal regard and appreciation for keeping our community healthy, and do hereby declare May 11th through the 17th of 2025 to be Hospital Week in Lewis County, New York, and urge residents to express their appreciation for the people, facilities, and technologies that make quality healthcare services possible in our community. The second proclamation is in honor of National Skilled Nursing Care Week, which is also May 11th through the 17th. Whereas skilled nursing care centers throughout New York will be celebrating National Skilled Nursing Care Week, May 11th to May 17th, 2025. This year's theme, Tapestry of Life, highlights the meaningful stories that make up each person's journey in life. And whereas I urge all citizens to visit a loved one, family member, or friend residing in a skilled nursing center and spend time participating in various activities to celebrate. And whereas the County of Lewis takes this moment to embrace the essence of the theme Tapestry of Life, let's join all skilled nursing care centers, the men and women who are on the front lines working tirelessly to help others in their greatest time of need, and the volunteers, residents, and their family and friends in celebrating this special week. And therefore, I, Lauren Stahlhoff, as chairman of the Lewis County Board of Legislators, declare the week of May 11th through the 17th of 2025 as National Skilled Nursing Care Week, a week to honor the vital role that skilled nursing care centers provide in caring for and protecting our most vulnerable citizens in our community.
Thank you. We have our hospital CEO, Mr. Kayer, here with us. Would you come forward and receive these proclamations, please? Okay, the April 1st board meeting minutes have been distributed, and if there are no amendments, they stand approved. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 6, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee has met, and they recommend to waive rules to act upon late resolutions.
Need a motion? Herb, do I have a second? Andrea, any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries. Clerk of the Board reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The semi-annual mortgage tax report for October 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025 was completed and distributed to the Board of Legislators. A warrant was signed in the sum of $177,789.68, which has been apportioned to the tax districts, and the Treasurer's Office has been directed to pay the respective amounts due to the towns, villages, and county pursuant to the provisions of Section 261 of the tax law. There was an application for refund of credit of real property taxes submitted and approved for the town of Lewis, tax map number 400.00-01-13.000. The New York State Old Time Fiddlers Association sent a letter thanking the Board of Legislators for their generous funding appropriation. And a letter of resignation was submitted from Allison Petrus regarding her appointment with the Lewis County Youth Bureau Advisory Board. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Standing committee reports. We'll start off with Finance and Rules with Legislator Osborne, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to report that the county manager and treasurer are beginning to prepare for the upcoming budget season. Departments will begin with meetings on personnel and technology needs in the first half of July, followed by meetings on capital planning and regular budgets for the second half of the month. There will be a lot of time and thought put into making this successful budget year. The Health Committee is starting to work on new goals for next year with efforts to create more stability within the fund. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you, Tom. And we'll move to General Services Committee with Legislator Moorhan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to remind all fellow legislators that there is a Lewis County Solid Waste and Dank Tour this Friday, May 9th, excuse me, beginning at 8:30 a.m. Solid Waste Director Kip Turk will give you a private tour of the Lawville Transfer Station. And then, as a group, you will head down to Rodman Landfill for a tour by Dank of that facility at 10 o'clock a.m. If you are attending, please make sure to wear appropriate clothing and footwear. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Andrea? Health and Human Services Committee with Legislator Moser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There will be community engagement sessions with the New York State Office of Mental Health on Wednesday, May 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. and Thursday, May 8th from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Lewis Jefferson Community College Education Center on East Road for all community members, especially those who receive or have received mental health services, and for those who wanted to get services but haven't. Anyone with questions should reach out to Anna Platts, Director of Community Services at annaplatts@lewiscounty.ny.gov. The month of May is recognized as National Foster Care Month, a time to recognize and celebrate the dedication of foster parents, child welfare professionals, and advocates who provide stability and love to children in need. Social Services has planned a foster parent recognition picnic on June 18th to bring foster families together and express their appreciation. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for Jess? Board's representative on the Hospital Board of Managers, Legislator Nortz, please.
Oh, can you hear me? Everybody hear me all right? Okay, the Board of Managers met on April 30th. During that meeting, Jennifer Wendell, Chief Compliance Officer, gave an update on what she's been doing. She's been doing a fantastic job up there bringing the hospital into compliance. The Hospital Foundation also gave a presentation of all the money that they've been able to raise through their various events over the course of the year. The, here's my guys here. There was a loss of $274 versus a budgeted loss of $244 for the month of March. Year-to-date loss is $1.3 million versus a budgeted loss of $1.1 million. They also discussed acute admissions were down 16. Observations were also down. ER visits were down. Hospital visits, outpatient visits were up by 31. What else we got here? Mr. Helen, let's see. You have to excuse me here. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Building and Grounds gave the report. Is there anything else, Mr. Kayer, that I've forgotten? Would you like to bring up this time?
I'd bring up two items.
The Ladies Auxiliary presented Mr. Young and I with a check for $30,000 in support of a new piece of technology in our radiology department. We have purchased a Halgic 3D dimension mammography system featuring the Genesis A1 technology. This cutting-edge system enhances early detection, improves diagnostic accuracy, and provides a more comfortable experience for the patients. you will be hard pressed to find this technology, a level of mammography technology that exceeds us in the Tri-County region. And this is possible because of the work of the auxiliary, but it's also possible because 8 years ago, we committed to a 10-year capital budget process. And when you do that, you can bring the appropriate technologies to rural healthcare, as my colleagues at the health system have. Second, our CFO, Jeff Hellinger, has initiated the budget process for FY26. So all of the assorted documents and handouts that have to be out with timelines has begun. And lastly, working with BOCES and the Caring Gene Initiative, we started an LPN training program. We have 10 LPNs from Lewis County in the BOCES program, and they will be graduating in about 6 weeks with an LPN degree. And I'm aware of at least 8 who will be starting work at the health system, and then that they will begin an 8-week orientation process. Participating in the Caring Gene Initiative has allowed for full tuition to be paid for this training program. And in exchange, the students have made a 3-year commitment. So there'll be more to come as we get closer to graduation. But this is a significant initiative in the development of a career ladder for nursing. And unless you have questions for me, that will be my report. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Anything further, Vince? Okay, we'll move to the county manager report with Mr. Hunt.
Okay, a couple things to brief the board on. First of all, on Friday, Candy was notified that our assessor will be leaving. And we're going to run through the committee process, but I just wanted to get everybody up to speed on that pretty quickly. We believe the best course of action would be for the county to step back from a countywide assessor. We're going to have a hard time keeping someone in that role, and we're going to end up paying to train them and then have them leave to go to the towns. The scenario that's happening is each town, if they take on 5 or 6 towns, they're going to be making a lot more than we can afford to pay them. So I think we're going to end up with a revolving door if we're continue down this path. So we're going to recommend that we get out of that business, but we continue to do the data collection for the towns. And by doing that, there's a little bit of a checks and balance that the person is doing their job. But I think the assessment is that it's going to be very, very difficult to keep somebody in that role. So just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on that one. The other thing is I wanted to bring everybody up to date on the headcount conversation. So earlier this year, I mentioned to the legislators that I was concerned that we had grown government a little bit too big and that our headcount was very high. We had an FTE, full-time equivalent, of 300 employees. I met with all of the department heads and I asked them when they're replacing people from retirements or attrition that we meet and see if there's things that we can do. I'm happy to report at this time that we are down 13 and a half full-time equivalent positions just through that process without terminating anybody, without losing anyone, but just by looking at our positions. And all of the department heads have participated, done a great job. Buildings and grounds, Matt has gone without a person. Highway is down 4, county attorney's down 1, DSS is not going to replace a retiree. Forestry and Parks is down 4.5 by really thinking about their summer help. Public health is down 1, and the assessor, which I just announced is leaving, if we don't refill that, is another position. So just with some, thoughtful looking, we've been able to do that. In tonight's packet, there is a resolution on codes, looking for a director of codes. Ideally, we would not increase our headcount with that. We're all trying to do our best. The ideal situation is if an internal candidate came forward, we would continue with 5 people in codes. If there is an outstanding external candidate that we wanted to consider, It would increase codes by 1 FTE for 1.5 years, anticipating retirement. That decision, whether we do that or not, can be done after we've looked at the candidates and the applicants as they come through, but I just want to kind of bring that up. And the justification for looking for a codes person is the position has really changed a lot. First of all, they're responsible for building and codes. Obviously, we're doing zoning now for all of the towns except for 2 in Lewis County. We have responsibility for floodplain management in that office, junkyards, and coming on board very soon is short-term rentals. And the other thing that's going to be happening is, while they're also implementing brand new software right now, and then in this year, we'll be implementing new codes. New York State is adopting new codes this year, and that is going to be an enormous lift. So that's what we're kind of up to, and I just wanted to get you up to date on that. That is my report, and the rest of my report is in your packet.
Any questions for Tim? If not, we'll move to the county treasurer report. Mr. Verkler.
Thank you. You have my written report. I would add a couple of comments. One, since I issued this, we did have an update from GKG, our health plan consultant, on our stop loss coverage. And I think since the time that they presented to you a month or so ago, we go out for an annual review of that coverage. And this year, GKG was working with another firm and was quite aggressive in seeking proposals for that stop loss coverage. That was successful. And we believe we have locked in coverage with a new firm and an approximate savings of about $450,000 for this coming plan year. So we're happy to see the results of that. That will give us kind of a jump start on our plan year and an anticipated savings over the costs that we were expected and were presented to you in that last meeting. And then the other item I would note, I did provide you a handout today for our fund balance summary. So the key thing I want you to look at there is the change in fund balance for our general fund from 2023 to 2024. We've completely wrapped up the 2024 year. Our audit is finished. So that gives you a summary of that change. There's a lot of nuance, I guess I would say, to how fund balance is reported. You can see the columns, the categories there of non-spendable, restricted, assigned, and unassigned. I've got descriptions for those underneath the numbers. I'm not going to try and walk through those descriptions, but certainly if you've got any questions right now, I will answer them, or if you have questions and want to discuss in the future, that would be great also. Bottom line, we have a $3.5 million decrease in our general fund balance from 23 to 24. That really is driven by the operational deficit for the year. And as we talked about earlier in 2024, that was a large portion of that was related to the higher than expected IGT Medicaid supplement payments that we experienced in 2024. So nothing really unusual from what we saw back during the months of 2024. And yeah, I think that just highlights what we were expecting, and we'll take those numbers going forward into 2025. Certainly, again, there's a lot of complication of that. So if you have questions now or later, I will do my best to answer those.
Questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. Back on the public hearing, is there anyone here that would like to comment on the proposals? Seeing no interest, I will close the public hearings at this point. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 7, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee reports that they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $2,499,646.21 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
Need a motion to move that, please. Tom Kalmus, second by Jeff. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Carries. Okay, on to resolutions. We are pulling 83, 84, 90, 91, 93, 94, 99, 100, 101, and 102. Are there any additional resolutions that anyone would like to vote on separately?
Yes, there's a couple more. 86, 96, and 98.
Okay. Could we have a motion to move the balance of the resolutions as consent resolutions? Moved by Jess, second by Tom Osborne. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? The consent packet passes. And we'll go back to resolution number 83.
Resolution number 83 is auditing and allowing claims in the amount of $2,499,646.21.
Moved by Herb, second by Andrea. Discussion.
Mr. Chairperson, I have to recuse myself because there are payments made to myself, my firm, and upon vouchers that I approved.
Please note that in the record, and this is roll call.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
Legislator Lindecker,
Yes.
Legislator Moorhan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
Legislator Mosher has abstained, Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Leviker,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
and Legislator Dahlhoff.
Yes.
The next one is resolution number 84, which is a resolution amending compensation plan with reference to the Department of Fire and Building Codes.
Someone like to move it? Herb, do I have a second? Jeff, discussion.
Mr. Chairperson, my sole issue is I just don't want to create another position. So I have nothing that I want to get into executive and or anything like that. I just don't want to add another position to the county.
I feel the same way. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's a year and a half.
Also, you can't guarantee that it's going to be from within house. There's no way I can agree with that too.
Any other comments? All in favor? And the show who's opposed here, please. Jess, Barry, and
No,
Vince.
no, yeah.
Okay. Motion carries.
Okay, the next one is Resolution 86, which is a resolution authorizing special prosecutor legal services agreement between Lewis County District Attorney and Angelo J. Partapello III.
Someone would like to move that, please? Tom Kalmus, do I have a second? Barry, discussion.
This is just for one case. And are they really that far behind that they need the help, or is that they need the expertise?
I'm not sure, and the
I
DA
could
isn't
try to
here.
address that. I do know that with their trial schedule this summer, the DA wanted to have somebody to be assigned to this particular trial because they have other trials going on. So maybe it was partly how busy they are coming up May, June, and July. And I do know that they're down one assistant, so that's probably why.
Anyone else? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
No.
Joe Barry opposed, and the resolution carries.
Sorry, the next resolution is Resolution 90, resolution opposing the legislation granting New York Power Authority additional authority to own renewable energy projects in New York State.
Moved by Jeff. Do I have a second? Herb? Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I feel that this particular resolution is so important that it should be forwarded to every municipality, township in the county to have them also sign on to it to show that Lewis County is opposed to being a stepping stone for everybody else in the state of New York, and also to protect the vested interests we already have in alternative power that we already have and will have in the future. So I highly agree with this resolution and suggest that it be passed on to all the townships and et cetera.
Okay, we can do that.
I had also brought this up at the Adirondack Review Board this past Wednesday, so they're aware of this one and the other resolution for support also.
Thank you. Anything else? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next resolution is resolution number 91, and this resolution is urging Governor Hochul to oppose the New York Heat Act during the 2025 budget process and legislative session.
Moved by Herb, second by Jess. Discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Carries.
Resolution number 93 is a resolution awarding bid and authorizing contract between the County of Lewis and Delaterra LLC for the Lewis County composting pilot project.
Moved by Jessica, second
I'll second it.
by Vince. Discussion.
I did have a discussion with Cassie. It's, I believe the hospital is going to be on this and a lot of residents. And I kind of request a grocery store and a restaurant for the food pickup.
Okay, we can reach out for that. Any other comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries.
The next one is Resolution 94, and this resolution is authorizing agreement with New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services with amended distribution amounts under grant distribution number 14.
Moved by Tom Osborne, second by Andrea. Discussion.
Mr. Chairperson, I have to recuse myself from this one as well. This is grant funding, and a portion of this is going to be allocated to the assigned council, and I'm the administrator.
Please note that in the record. Any other comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 96 is a resolution to add 3.2 miles of new trail to the Lewis County Trail System.
Moved by Jessica, second by Josh. Discussion.
With these from now on, could we get a map with them? So we know,
I
Okay.
believe the maps were forwarded early on with the introductory law. With the seeker as well.
could we get them with the resolution though? So we know exactly what we're talking about?
Can we do that?
Sure, we'll do that, going forward with all of these. But the board has all of those maps for all of these.
Was it in your, I wasn't here, was it in the PowerPoint presentation as well? Any other comments?
NYMER, our insurance company, how do they feel about this? Have we checked with them? I mean, are we covered?
We had a meeting with NYMER 2 or 3 weeks ago, just to talk to them about two things. One was just making sure they were fully aware of the ATV activity that was happening up here. And two, to see if there was any appetite for event activity. They are aware we're not the only county. There's a number of counties that do have roads open to ATVs. So that was not an issue. I did hear back from them today. They do not have an appetite for event-type activities. That, as I mentioned before, has become a real problem for all the clubs to be running events. But as far as the opening of roads and they're aware that this is an activity here.
And they're okay with it.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
No.
Joe Barry opposed. Resolution carries.
Okay, the next one is Resolution 98, and this is a resolution to add 678 feet of new trail to the Lewis County Trail System.
Moved by Andrea. Do I have a second? Jessica, discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
No.
Joe Barry opposed, and the resolution carries.
Okay, resolution number 99 is a resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 1-2025.
Someone would like to move it, please? Herb, second. Andrea? Any discussion? And this is a roll call.
Legislator Mosier,
Yes.
Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Leindecker,
Yes.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
Legislator Levicker,
Yes.
Legislator Moorhan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
and Legislator Dolhoff.
Yes.
The next one is Resolution 100, and this is a resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 2-2025.
Moved by Andrea, second by Jess. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if we adopt this resolution, sorry, do I have the floor?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, if we adopt this resolution, I would like to see the Director of Outdoor Services report back to this body in 12 months as to all the possible vehicle violations, park, recreation, New York State vehicle, landowner complaints, and any other incidences along this 5-mile stretch to review in the coming year, to revisit this to see if this is a wise decision.
Okay.
That's all.
Jackie is here and she's nodding her head that she's okay with that. So,
Thank you, Jackie.
any other comments? And this is a roll call.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
Legislator Levicker,
Yes.
Legislator Mosier,
Yes.
Legislator Moorhan,
Yes.
Legislator Leindecker,
No.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
and Legislator Dolhoff.
Yes.
Okay.
Resolution carries.
The next one is Resolution 101, and this is a resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 3-2025.
Someone would like to move it, please? Josh, do I have a second? Jessica? Discussion. And this is a roll call.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
Legislator Mosier,
Yes.
Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Levicker,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
Legislator Leindecker,
No.
Legislator Moorhan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
and Legislator Dolhoff.
Yes.
And the last resolution is not the last one. Resolution number 102 is the resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 4-2025.
Someone like to move it, please? Herb, do I have a second? Josh? Discussion. And this is a roll call as well.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Leindecker,
No.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Levicker,
Yes.
Legislator Morahan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
Legislator Mosher,
Yes.
and Legislator Dahlhoff.
Yes.
And that is all of the pulled resolutions.
So, do we have any other business that we'd like to discuss at this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to request an executive session to talk about the potential promotion, demotion, or termination of a personnel.
Someone like to move it? Herb,
Mis-
second?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, is there something about the youth bureau that we have, or is that going to be discussed in executive for membership?
That was,
103?
that was passed in the consent resolutions, Vinnie.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Thank you.
Motion to go into executive session. Jeff, second by Tom Osborne. And Vinnie, I'm sorry, but we won't be able to include you in the executive session.